crack. I don't think it goes all the way through. Antler bevel. I'm going to trim up and try to get a flake across that crack. Short flakes. Okay, it's gone. Look at your slabs first. See if there's a crack and get that out first. And second, look at natural areas. This is an end cut, and this is the natural surface. Sometimes there'll be ash or slight cracks that go in. So on bigger slabs especially, you probably are best suited to get rid of that natural surface edges first. I'm going to go through this beginning part pretty quick, because really what I want to show is the antler direct percussion a little bit later when I get my edges a little bit more organized. Boy, this is a slippery piece of rock. Brush, a little pinch. I'm gonna go to the antler here pretty soon. I'm going to be doing a lot of short flakes and try to get my edges organized. I like to use a little bit more nipping with the hammerstone. Kind of just have to get a feel for how abraded the edges are for the antler. Since this is pretty steep and it's not a good antler platform. I'll just do a little cleaner with the hammerstone. An antler would have put a lot of stress into that. A little low, but sometimes if it's a little low, you have to take just a small flake and help that contour. As my edges get organized, I'm looking at everything really closely. So there's a ridge there, which is a good flake, but there's thickness here. So as I go from one end, I'll do a little tidying and maintaining that edge thickness. I don't want to take it all away, but I want to control it to where I can find the balance in the piece. We got a little end cut sway there, and we've got, you know, some areas of thickness on the edge. So sometimes you can just go, like later that we'll get rid of that. But there, accentuate that ridge. This needs to come back. This is a nice ridge, so I'll do a little edge manipulation to bring that back. Here, I can get one tiny flake there. This I can trim down and just kind of help myself. There, that'll be a platform there. And this will go this way. There's that one, and there's this one. We can get a teeny one right here. We can do a teeny bit trimming back there. Use the hammerstone to get in a small area. You get a little one there, but that's heavy for antler, so let's just hit that with the hammerstone. Trim back here. Just very slight blending. One more. Move over. Little grind, tiny finger support. This one. I crushed my platform on that one. This one. Okay. Now let's even it again. We've got a droop there, so we'll want to get a little flake down the tip here. Trim back a little bit so we can lower that. Seems like we're making it worse, but we'll fix it here in a second. Move that edge. Find a spot. Little space. See it straightened it. Still need to do a little bit more, but not much. Little grind. The lower you get, the more you hit in. The higher your platform, the more you support and hit down with the antler. So let's continue working on this edge and leave this be for now so you can see the difference. Okay, now there's trimming and thickening we need to do. Trim down there. Build this angle right to take some thinning here. That'll straighten that edge. So move along. Keep going that way. Here, we'll just be taking a small flake there. And then as we get down here, we'll square up the bottom and decide what kind of geometry we're going to want on our base. I'm looking at areas that are going to be high. That's going to be a little high. That's going to be a little high. That's going to be a little high. Trim. Little lean for this gritty hammerstone, so I'll have to hit that with the antler. These are going to be smoothing. Move over a ridge. Grind. Platforms aren't perfect, but they're good enough. Trim over. Look at position. Lower by just taking a little teeny flake. A lateral grind. Trim over. Move this ridge back a little bit. Small blender. Now let's work up and tidy that up even more. It's going to be a little high, so down a little bit. A little bit. This will need to come that way a little. Finger supporting small flakes. I'm working on this edge so that I don't flip and distract you from everything that going back and forth. This is giving you an easier time to see how I'm straightening this, thinning, but keeping flakes smooth. And turning my edge and keeping it organized without doing a whole lot of this abrasion. Early on, you can do a whole lot of abrading and just random around. But as you get finished, you end up losing a lot more material than you need if you have areas that are too thick and edges that are not organized. I need just a little bit sharper area on the abrader. Obsidian takes so little energy to remove flakes that it's a pretty good starting tool to learn angles, speeds, and edges, although it will lip a lot if you're and when you get thin, you have to hit, you can facet those platforms off. So it's a little trickier finishing that way. If you want to practice late stage flakes, slow down, keep yourself honest, and practice these little tiny ridge runners. Shaping the edges and doing these tiny little blending flakes is a lot harder than the big strikes. So get your spur, get it positioned. Make sure the contact area is going to be strong enough. Give it enough of a lateral grind. Didn't grind it enough. I clipped it. Okay, let's go to this edge and then I'll probably walk around this base to save a little bit of width. low. It's too low, so it needs to be built up just a little bit. Stick it in. Vibration and step can't happen if that tip is in this thickness. There's no risk of breaking it. Okay, let's do the same thing on this side. A lot of thick edges. Heavy thick edges, and just take it down with a hammerstone. It's a lot less risk of cracking. So I'm going to flake down here. We're going to get a little one right there. We're going to chop this down just a little bit. We're going to work around this radius, do some blending there, position ourselves, and then we're smooth into this side, and then we'll turn back for the other side. This is lean enough, although very heavy and broad for direct percussion strike. Had to hit that one a little faster to make sure it was decisive in removing it. If I would have hit that, if I would have backed off this edge with this support and sort of hit that dull, I would have got it in a deep flake where this signature happened. I don't want to hit that with a hammerstone because it's positioned heavy enough, and I want to make sure that I get a nice smooth flake through here. That'll require coming back here and relieving it this way rather than take that flake now. Ouch. I can't blow my head off because my phone is in my face. Teeny little, I need to move that just a little. There we go. Now as I come back down here, you can see why this was probably a bad idea to strike. That this platform looks a whole lot heavier, doesn't it now? Now that I've got all this nice and even. Sometimes when you have a lot of edge thickness, it's like an optical illusion when you're doing thinning flakes in the middle. You can do stuff that's too aggressive. So let's make this right. Look at that cute little blood drop. Back grind to isolate. See how much lower it is? Lateral grind smooth. That lipped because of that weakness there, but it's fine. It brings us closer to center. If it's heavy, you can trim with the hammer stone. Saves me a lot of time and is more efficient than pressure flaking. This is almost too heavy to trim in there, so we need to come back and relieve it. There. Get a little bit more right here. When I have thickness to go this way, I braid down and isolate set myself up. Taking that squareness off that edge. This is a little flat and goes down. So I'm just going to brush that in. Gives me a little bit more of a ridge the other way. Don't take those little trim and flakes for granted to keep things smooth. So you can see what you need to do exactly how we need to keep organized and straighten things up. So we can trim down, tiny trim down, build a little bit more convexity for this flake, and then get set up to work back this way just a little bit. The more organized things are in the contour, the more it's conducive to pattern flaking to finish. Not that we need to do pattern flaking, but it's a little too heavy. There we go. A lot of thickness coming off, so I just went ahead and overstruck it with the hammer stone. Nice and clean. Good feather, so we can blend into that from the other side. If you have a little sway, and if you have a low enough edge, you can just not trap and back off. That anticipated to go through there, and it didn't. As I was working around earlier, I didn't take this flake because it was positioned too low. And it's good that I didn't. Because I could have ended up with a flat surface there that this flake wouldn't have gone to. Low but sharp. Jam in. I didn't grind it enough, but I've got room right here to fix that. Isolate a little bit more, a little heavier grind. Okay. This is where things get really nitpicky. You don't want to just grind that. You want to help contours just a little bit back and forth if you want to chip fine edge stuff with percussion. tiny blending flakes. This is awful flat. Now see how that flake is going down there? So this one we don't want to push in too much. We just want a little, we just want one just to smooth in there. I didn't quite grind that enough, which is fine because I don't want to. That helped accentuate that ridge. Now look, it's less down. Grind back. Tiny, this is gonna be a tiny little flake. See that? If you can do those, you can do the big ones. Small little flake. Pay attention to contours this way. It's really easy to get small hinges off the edge. Another small flake because we've got concavity there. Small. This last little bit of natural surface will be fixed from here. Tiny little isolation lean. It's fairly flat, so we want to be able to hit in a little bit. Give it a grind. I underground that again, which is okay. We have to just straighten this and lose a teeny bit of length. Okay, let's come down and get this, but we don't want to tack it here. We want to get somewhere in here to do it. Okay, we'll move this over and then we'll be in a good spot. We'll have to take that little teeny bump down right there, just with the hammerstone. Just there we go. Building ridges. I think we're close enough, excuse me, over that we can get this. I'm going to give this one a good grind so I don't step into that. I had to give that a good grind so I could hit in and not step into this area there. So, very nice. Let's do maybe one or two more and then this will be a decent lesson for direct percussion on obsidian with the whitetail billet. I've got a lot of small obsidian slabs. I think I sold all the bigger slabs that I want to sell, but I've got some small stuff, so I might have more available. This is too heavy to hit that. See how I just sheared that back? I'm trying to hit that right here. I don't even want to hit that too far to the right. Very nice. Okay, then let's get maybe this and this and then shut her down. Have to use this hammerstone on any remaining thick areas, because an antler, if I just trim, it's just going to lip those off and take a bite out of my edge. This is a little heavier, so I'm going to pinch and see if I can't. No, I didn't do it with the hammerstone. I'm not sure what I want to make out of this. Okay, that's good. Down, because it's a high edge. I overstruck that. It was heavy. I overstruck it so that it would sort of, even though it split the flake on the edge, I just needed a little one to get rid of that edge thickness. Thanks for everyone who bought my obsidian offerings. I still have 4 adzes left. That I overstruck a little bit too. It's sort of sloppy, but it cleaned. When you learn flint knapping, it's easy to get a smooth surface or a nice pattern, and you want to leave that on the piece. And my advice is to try to be tidy early, and good flakes and good contours are just provide good surfaces for further flaking. So if you're getting fixated on a nice area, then just set it down. You pick it up later and you'll be less precious about your good side or your good patterns. This is pretty obsidian. See that? So there's still a lot of edge thickness in spots, but at this point I could get a smaller hammerstone and proceed, or I could do just a little bit of pressure and do more careful antler percussion, or I could switch to any number of tools. But I just wanted to show I do a lot more abrading. Now that I've been shipping more obsidian lately, I do a lot more of this up abrading than down, so I don't get those little teeny flakes in my finger. So okay, can't think of anything else. Thank you for watching. I hope that was helpful.